she got this blubber of the whale, and in her mouth, and she's like, like a dog does. They just keep on ripping at it, and so they're both screaming. And but there's no blood because there's so much fat on them. Let's be honest, there's so much fat. There's no veins you know, for at least like 6 or 8 inches into that thigh. But I'm sure it hurt. Their nerves and everything. But then suddenly they're both on the ground, and my first wife was taking her fingers and was trying to gouge my current wife's eyes, and all was fair in love and war. So I'm like, don't take that from her, give it back to her. And and she was like, it was real close, and she was trying to fight it back. And it was like, a piece of ham descending from heaven, just falling out of the sky. This hand, it must have looked terrible to see these fingers with all these dimples, about to go into your eyeballs. And I doubt he actually could have gotten into the actual eye holes with those chubby fingers. I think this would have more been like, putting pressure around the eye socket. And Patty then, she was being straddled, and it was like, game over almost. But then Patty did a great move, and I knew all the, I coached her. I said, I know all the soft spots of Candy. I was like, get her in the crotch. And that's how I said, get her in the crotch. So she, with her knee, she worked her back right into her woman balls. And man, that sent her almost over Patty's head, but not quite. And she landed with her belly in Patty's face. And I thought, man, this is not a good situation. I mean, it's not. I have been under that load. I know my pelvic region has suffered under that load. I know what it's like. This is not, and I've had her on my face too. And you don't have more than 30 seconds or so before the brain cells start to die. And so I'm like, well, you better get off that. You better not. This is it's a serious situation. You better get off her, man. And so she's like, no way, I'm not moving. And she just kicked me in the groin and all that stuff. And I was saying, you gotta get off her. She can't breathe. And so her toes and everything was like she was kicking underneath, and I could just see the dimples in her knees. It's a real sad sight. And I'm like, well, all's fair in love and war, but this could be murder, so you better get off her. I'm gonna have to intervene. And Patty goes, and Candy goes, if you do that, then then this thing is over, and there's no settlement here. It's like war. So I thought, all right, let them fight it out. Just back off, mind my own business. So after about 25 seconds, Candy, I give her so much credit for doing this, right? Somehow she found the spiritual light inside her of mercy, right? And she just sort of slid down back, so it's like even face to face. And then Patty opened, it was real touching. Patty opened her eyes and looked right into her eyes, and it was like mercy. And then you better turn the channel if you're offended by certain things. But then suddenly they started kissing. They started making out. Now I knew, this did not surprise me that much. I knew that they were both bisexual when I married them, but I never knew they had been together. This was news to me, and now here they are. This is like reuniting the old flame, and I'm like, man, I just got screwed twice over. At that point, I'm like, I gotta do something. This is disgusting. Seeing these two women, getting it on right in front of me, and then I'm like, well, maybe it's not so bad after all. I mean, they're making up, right? It's like peace and love, and but then there was like some jealousy coming out of me, like, You know, we got 800 pounds of a woman, you know, having sex with each other almost on the front lawn. And, you know, this ain't right, you know. One of them is my wife, and the other's I don't want them moving in, you know, together. Then I got nothing. So you know, I went and I fetched my crowbar. I wanted to you know, separate them. There's no way I could have done it otherwise. So I got the crowbar, and you know, they didn't even know what was going on. I'm like, so I get in there sort of under their pelvic bone, and I'm like, you know, I'm frying, rocking, and then, you know, that eventually separated them. And once you got a turtle on its back, they can't do nothing, can they? So they're both just side by side on their back, and they need me to help them out. I'm like, you know, then I started cussing them out. That's disgusting. What are you doing there? The Bible talks about peace and love, but they don't talk about this. This is not right, you know. And yeah, I figured I don't care about those pictures no more. I don't care about those dogs. I got two women in love, you know. And how am I going to deal with this now? How am I going to keep them apart? I thought my problems would be over from this cat fight, but it turned into like a lion love session. And, you know, I don't know what's going to happen now. All I know, I got two dead dogs. We got my pictures burnt. And now we got two women in love with each other who happen to be my first wife and my current wife. So, if you have any advice for me, just let me know, because right now I'm sort of scratching my head. You know, I really am scratching my head, and I'm confused, so I need some guidance. Let me know what you think, because who do I turn to now? You know, but my friends online, because the two people closest to me are now closest to each other, and that's disgusting. So, this is NASCARvern. Take care.